right, hello everyone. How's it going, guys? Everyone good today?
Yes, sir, doing well.
Awesome, awesome. So we got a lot to go through today, which is very exciting. A lot of developments underway. A lot of big picture stuff as well underway around where the DAO's vision and are entering a new space with the NFT space. So really looking forward to opening this up today, getting everyone's feedback, thoughts on our direction moving forwards. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we can look at everything we are going through today. Okay, can everyone see?
Yep.
Awesome. So, guys, today, quick overview of what we're going to be going into. So we have a quick recap of all the stuff that's been going on with EPNS and their notifications, which will soon be enabled for our synthetics, which will be a big UX improvement. Then we have an update on the Uniswap uh, Volume KPI options, which I believe has just passed. So that's very exciting as well. Then we have a new product lineup, which I believe this is the first official unveiling of. So that will be going out on Twitter and stuff as well later on. DeFi tools. Now these synths are, I mean, they blew my mind. So we're going to go deep into the upcoming synths coming to Yam synths. And then quick update on the Rari Capital Fuse pools, which just passed the funding governance proposal. And then we have the very exciting MOFY, which is the Museum of Fine Yams Vision and Strategy. So there's a few moving parts here, which we're really excited to get feedback on and move forwards together on as a DAO. Uh, as I said, quick update on the EPNS side. So we just had two AMAs, one held in the EPNS Telegram channel and one in our Discord yesterday. It's worth catching up. There's a Medium post with the full transcript. There are prizes for the best questions. And they're also running a meme contest. So if you guys want to win some push tokens, you can have some fun on Twitter, post a meme, and maybe you'll win. So pretty exciting. You know, Yamdao's chosen alongside Uniswap and others as a leader in the DeFi space, and EPNS seemed that super stoked to be working with us. We're stoked to be working with them. So that's a quick update there. Check out the Medium. So this is also very exciting. So I'd like to hand over to Fedus to discuss the Uniswap Volume KPI options. So Fedus, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Yeah.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening or afternoon or wherever it is, wherever you are. So Uniswap KPI, volume KPI has passed. And if you guys haven't been following this, this is one of UMA's, using UMA's EMP contracts, like we do with Yam Synths, to create a KPI option for Uniswap to essentially help them divest their treasury. So we know that they've got over a couple $1 billion of Uni tokens in their treasury, and that's a lot of money, and it's all in Uni tokens, so that's a lot of systemic risk. So, as my work with Yam Treasuries, I'm trying to work with other DAOs to get them to divest their treasury and ultimately open a DAO house with us, or a Yam Treasury with Yam Yam Treasuries. So this is the first step in kind of that process for Uniswap. Uniswap is, as you guys know, a big, huge protocol. If we can get them to divest some of their Uni tokens into stable coins, I think the very next step would be to get them to do treasury management with Yam Treasuries. Not only that, it also creates synergies with our Yam.Synths website, where obviously if we get this approved via Uniswap's treasury or Uniswap's governance, we will be listing the KPI option on our website, Yam.Synths. So that should definitely bring a lot of eyeballs and recognition to Yam.Finance. So, anyways, this is what's passed is the consensus check, which is the second piece of their governance system, and then the third piece is like the big 40 million uni vote. It requires 40 million in governance, I mean, in quorum, to get passed. So I'll be working with some of the team and some of the UMA team to get the coding done and also to reach out to the whales because that's quite a bit of uni tokens that needs to vote.
Like
But
correction,
stay tuned.
I think it's a little bit less than that. I think now
But
it's at the 2.5.
no, 2.5 million is just to post the proposal.
Oh,
So
okay.
you still need a 40 million to pass, unfortunately. But
Got it.
the 2.5 is lowered from 10 million, which was originally required to post a proposal. So it's a long governance process, but I think in the end, if it works out, it's definitely worth it for Yam, and also UMA and also Uniswap. But any questions, comments?
What kind of timeline are you thinking? Like we want to go ahead and get this proposal up and over to them while we still have like the momentum from the consensus check.
Yeah, good question. So it's I think reach out. We need to definitely do some community reach out, specifically, to Uniswap community. We've got a lot of support from Yam, UMA, from a lot of people that are familiar with what's going on. But we definitely need to get out to the broader community and also the whales. There has been a lot of clamor about especially the DeFi. If you guys follow the whole fiasco with DeFi education fund, where when they got the grant of 1 million uni or 10 million uni tokens or whatever it is, they sold it right away, which was a huge issue because they said they wouldn't. But it also is an issue because if they just got stable coins, the treasury would be in control of the narrative instead of letting DeFi education fund control it. Sorry. So to answer your question, the timeline for this is basically we're gonna reach out to some of the bigger known whales and kind of figure out where they are and see if we can get their support. If we can get enough of them to support us, we should be able to move this forward quickly. The coding aspect of it isn't too terrible. Umar knows how to do it. We know how to do it with the Synths, so it's easy enough there. Any other questions?
Do you foresee there being any issues with the fact that it's an option and Uni recently delisted or whatever multiple UMA options already?
Good question, Crypto Joe. Not that I can tell, because a lot of those synthetics or options were they had some tie to. Actually, no, you're right. I am not sure.
All right.
I hope not. Yeah, I haven't feedback on it yet.
Is there
But
is
from
there
what
been sorry.
From what I understood, from what I understood, and not all synthetics, not all options were delisted. Kind of the bigger, more. Sorry, go ahead. I got to check into that, but thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, of course.
And thanks for giving me what you got.
Dennis, I might be misunderstanding, but as I understood it, all those synthetics, the red flag that they triggered is that they were tied back to legacy markets, i.e., equities. So you can make a synth of anything in DeFi. It was the fact that it was betting on SEC regulated markets, but not 100% on that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first, but I did recognize that there were some like inverse tokens of like DeFi native, like inverse Doge, that were delisted too. So I've got to double check on that, but that was my initial impression, but I don't think that's true.
What does the proposal say about who can buy these products? Because that could make a big difference too.
It's going to be open. One piece that we need to figure out is how are we going to distribute these tokens or sell these tokens. Initial thought was maybe like using Uniswap V3 with a narrow LP range, and basically just reducing it as it gets like a kind of a reverse Dutch auction, or maybe a Gnosis auction. So this is something that we're still discussing. If you guys have any ideas, we'd be happy to hear about it. Any other questions?
Man, my audio sucks, dude. Can y'all hear me? I hope I'm not.
I can hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I didn't know my audio was on. Sorry.
That's good.
Let
That's
me
good. Have you got a
no,
question?
let me mute
move on?
myself, man. Let me mute myself. I've been trying to. My audio's been going in and out. I've been having a hard time. Like I'm just gonna mute myself. Please continue. I will chime in if I have any questions.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That'd be great. So let's move on, guys. Really exciting stuff with Uni there. We'll definitely try and get that quorum. DeFi power tools. This is like a really exciting new range of Synths. So I'm gonna hand over straight over to VDM, who's the Synths maestro, and talk them through in detail.
Thanks, Alec. Yeah, we're super excited about this because this suite of synths is going to be, as it says there, deeply DeFi native. The whole kind of goal here is to create synths that don't exist anywhere else in DeFi, and will help you kind of navigate the DeFi ecosystem. Providing tooling to trade or speculate and hedge just against risks that exist that are just, you can't take views on them in a capital efficient way. So it kind of also a piece of why we targeted more DeFi native synths is we kind of sat down and compared UGAS to UStonks to previous synths, and UGAS was something you couldn't trade anywhere else. There were a lot of people that wanted to trade gas. It's very much a DeFi native thing, and yeah, it attracted a lot more volume than UStonks. And even though UStonks as an index itself is DeFi native, it's still you can get stocks other way. You can get stocks in other places. So I think it was a kind of a conscious move to be more DeFi native. That's what Yam is. And there's going to be quite a few synths in this range of synths, and we're going to start off with 3, which I'm going to present now. And on the next slide, there's what excites me the most out of the 3 is the XSushi APY. So now what you're seeing on the right-hand side is a backtest that I ran, and it's just working out what the APY would be, the annualized APY of XSushi if you were looking at 7 days of data. So it kind of just takes 1 week of XSushi data and then backs out what the yield would be if that was sustained for a year. And obviously these XSushi APY, it's coming from the portion of swap fees that gets fed to the sushi stakers. So it's, if you're making bets on swap fees, you're making bets on volume. So that's why I said that's a proxy for volume. So it's really difficult to kind of make this type of synthetic and not have it be made in a way it's hard to make the synth in a way that's not manipulatable. So we were trying to make a kind of an ETH DAI LP kind of type synth where you could bet on the swap fees there, but it's just very cheap to manipulate. So we kind of zoomed out and said, how can we make this really expensive to manipulate? And when you're going across an entire AMM, it's a lot harder to manipulate. So this is a really exciting one. As you can see, as trading volumes spike, they spike up and down. So there's definitely tradability in this synth. And the black lines on the chart are just to reference the upper and lower bounds of the UMA's LSP contract, which is something I think we'll go to in more detail in a future call. But it's the new smart contracts framework that we're going to be building synths off of. And this one will be DAI collateralized, so there's likely to be some kind of rewards on these synths. So those will be rewards on DAI collateral. Cool. So,
I'm just gonna jump in, guys. Can you mute your mic if you're not talking, guys? Mute your mic. Thank you.
cool. So I just went and muted the user. And on the next slide, we've got another one of the synth in the range. So what this is an impermanent loss synth, but it had to be tweaked for it to work in an AMM and for it to make sense. So if you look at the bottom chart, that's your standard impermanent loss chart, the approximation function for impermanent loss. And pretty much if there's a very volatile market, you can see there, if ETH is going to move up a lot or move down a lot, you're going to lose money in the AMM from your LP position. So what we did is we flipped that chart. So if you get the absolute value of that same kind of pricing function, you get the chart above it. And if you add 1 to it, to just enforce that it's never 0, because in an AMM, it's just you have these unique problems if an asset ever gets close to 0, well, at 0. And that's what the result is of this pricing identifier. But basically what it is a way for you to play impermanent loss. If the price goes up violently or if the price falls violently, then this synth will make money. So it's interesting how it can it goes both ways. If there's volatility in either direction, it can end up being in profit. Obviously, that depends on what you bought it for. But yeah, it's a great play on volatility. And as the price of ETH falls, the synth rises much faster than if the price of ETH rises. So there's almost like a downside protection in the synth. And I think a lot of people like the idea of having some upside if ETH goes up. But if ETH goes down, there's more, there's some convexity to it. So it's also a very exciting one. And it's a very capital efficient way to bet on impermanent loss. And that's because the only way you could really do this before in isolating impermanent loss on its own is quite convoluted. You'd have to kind of put in, maybe borrow some LP tokens on Aave, unwrap them, hold them, pay them back later. It's just a convoluted way to make a clean bet on impermanent loss. So this is a much better way. And it's also DAI collateralized. Cool. So that brings me to the last of the three for our first 3 synths in this suite is the 2 times DPI. So this one is simple to understand. It's got a simple payoff profile on the right-hand side. It's going to gives you 2 times exposure to DPI. DPI goes up 10%, you're going to make 20%. DPI goes down 10%, you're going to make minus 20%. So the unique thing about this one is compared to the other synths is that the collateral is ETH and the base currency is ETH. So this synth is going to be priced in ETH. So very much DeFi native. We're not thinking in terms of dollars. We're thinking in terms of ETH for the price of the synth. And as you can see, the synth flatlines at about 1.5 and 0.5. And that's also to reference the new financial contracts we're using with UMA, which have a kind of an upper bound and a lower bound for all kind of products that are going to be in there, all synths that are using those contracts. So yeah, it's just a very DeFi native set of synths. We're going to be looking to expand it further in the future, but as it starts, this is what's down the pipeline.
Thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone have any questions about those 3 synths we've highlighted there?
I have a question or two. Oh, you can go ahead, whoever that was.
Okay, so we're both gonna. Okay, so I'm just gonna go. When or is any of this available on Polygon?
I think that the plan is to launch them on Polygon, and there's just some things we're considering. Like we wanted to put these in Uni v3 because it's just more efficient market making. But that isn't on Polygon, so that's a consideration. But I think we definitely do want to put these on Polygon. So if possible, I think that's the direction that we want to move in.
Yeah, I think it would. I think it would. You would get a lot. You could get a lot more use there. But I guess we can talk about it. Like that's all I had.
Yeah, I agree. It's first prize. It's definitely first prize.
Is it hard to, like, is there a lot of thought that needs to go into which pairs you use for the impermanent loss one? is that a pretty easy thing to swap out?
It's super easy to swap out. Will, do you mind going back to that slide? I can kind of show on the chart. So it says there ETH DAI, but I mean, all this really is there's a financial product library that's just taking in the price of ETH, wherever it is, and then it's kind of applying a function to that. So we could just take in the price of Yam, whatever you want. It would look the same. It would just reference a different token. So this one we can make a whole load of parallel synths very easily if it's a successful one. But yeah, Zilik, I think that's everything from me, unless there's any more questions.
Yeah, I've got one more thing. It's not so much a question as it is, I guess, a comment. So like as many of y'all, many of you know, I'm just like a humble farmer. So a lot of this I feel like it's not over my head, but I think that it will be very important to get some like infographics and like small short explainers and things like that, just to kind of dumb it down for people like me. And I think that may be key to like expanding the market. Is just making it easier for people to understand really what's going on. And I understand this is the community column, so I should be more informed, right? But it's just a thought from my perspective.
I think that you're 100% correct. There's definitely going to be more lift from our side in terms of trying to educate users on these products. I think that's kind of the risk of making things that don't exist, is that you can't say, hey, it's like this, because it's not like anything else. It's brand new. So it's kind of like something that comes with the innovation. But yeah, we're definitely going to be planning to be putting out a lot of educational material to show people how to use these products and why they're good. But you are totally right that they are not exactly straightforward straight away to kind of look at.
Hey, another question. One thing that
Cool. That's all I had for everything that we've gone over so far. I appreciate I appreciate you answering my questions.
I appreciate the questions.
For all of these synths,
these are so exciting, and we're just scratching the surface of what's possible here, and it's just incredibly powerful synths. And yeah, it's a great question, and I think we are 100% focused on making not only just making these powerful products, but also making them relatable, making them accessible for everyone, and showing people how they'll benefit from them. So yeah, this is early days, and yeah, we're going to be putting a lot of marketing effort into pushing these incredible tools. So thank you, VDM, for sharing this little sample of what we can do. So next section is also very exciting, also new territory, Museum of Fine Yams NFTs. So we've spoken about this quite a lot recently. We put out a vision statement and a kind of long-term view of what we'd like to do in this space and why we're excited about it, and why we think we're kind of uniquely positioned to be here for the merging of NFT and DeFi, financialization of NFTs, and also providing tools that make NFTs minting accessible for artists everywhere. So let's have a look at some of the things. So if you didn't check out the strategy piece, check it out. It kind of summarizes exactly what we think we can achieve here. There's a full forum discussion, which I would love to see community members using as a brainstorming section, sharing their views on which would be the best strategies to focus on. But in general, the outline is we're looking at building a truly powerful marketplace, which would be scalable with zero knowledge proofs. As we know, we have our NFT drops, which progress is really ramping up on, Punk Fiction and the Yam Punks. If anyone didn't hear, we had an incredible metaverse exhibition with Dielia and Aria that is still live in the metaverse. I will share the link. You can check it out. So we're going to be continuing to platform artists to help artists reach more people and also build our own reputation and brand in this space. We're also looking at an NFT magazine, which would give some criticism, some commentary, latest mints, and more talking about the emerging space itself, the NFT space. And everything we're doing with the museum is going to be driving value back to the Yam token. The Yam is the heart. The Yam token is the heart of the DAO, and everything this DAO does, the ultimate aim is to provide value back to the Yam token. So we're looking at a few ways the marketplace and things like this can drive value back to Yam holders, Yam stakers, and users of the platform. So why do we think? Why are we looking at this? I just say a lot of us in this DAO are very excited by what's going on in the NFT space, and things are heating up there. Things are quite hot, but this is truly a technological revolution in some ways. And as kind of leaders of open finance, we think we're pretty uniquely positioned to play a role building infrastructure here. And as this DAO is comprised of artists as well and art lovers, we're pretty passionate to put this out. So that's the kind of overview. Some pictures here. Here's the upcoming punk fiction drop. Very excited for this. These are Yam punks. They should be a lot larger reach. So the punk fiction is going to be a very small drop. So it's not going to be available for everyone. Whereas the Yam punks, we're going to try and make as many people have a Yam punk as possible. I think these are super dope, super collectible, and punk inspired, but also truly Yam unique. So love that. This is a little something for all our Yam community members. There is a pair super Uman for our friends at Uma, but this is a Yam superhero. More details on that drop shortly. And a little recap of our exhibition with Diela and Aria. The marketplace, scalable, affordable, accessible. So early days on this, but in combination with the marketplace, we're also looking to do regular artist AMAs, keeping the Discord as a place where there's always, the conversation never stops, and getting artists and art lovers into our Discord, sharing their work, talking about work, and getting involved in the Yam ecosystem. The magazine will give a recap of recent events, reviews, commentary on the space, on the gas wars, on the broader property rights. All of the stuff that's going on will be covered in the magazine. And that's basically what I have for the Museum of Fine Yams strategy and MetaView. I'm going to open this up. If anyone has any questions on any of that or just wants to chime in, would absolutely love to hear it.
The NFT drops are exciting. How does one get involved in the drops? Become eligible or to either get them or to purchase them, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. That's going to vary for each drop. So some of them that there's going to be a lot more of. We're looking at ways we can distribute them to Yam LPs on SushiSwap, stakers, users of Yam Synths. The punk fiction is going to be that will be announced well ahead of time. And we're looking at obviously we don't want gas wars. We're going to look at ways we can distribute in a more fair way, where all the money doesn't go to miners. So yeah, there'll be more details over time. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks. Yeah, very cool.
Joe, did you want to jump on and talk about your vision for the MOFY?
Yep. I'm ready. So, for the past month, I've been assisting the team on the community's new adventures into the metaverse. and I've done so by offering some direction and recommendations when it comes to what I like about certain platforms and what I think their advantages are and stuff like that. But most recently, my contributions have consisted of lining several artists to be featured in MOFY as well as articles on the Yam website. So far, I've completed one interview and have another scheduled for this weekend. So there will be plenty of amazing artists highlighted and integrated into Yam's wonderful community in the near future. Outside of articles, I intend to use my understanding of NFTs and DeFi to assist in kind of planning our metaverse expansion, networking with potential collaborators, and ensuring that many of these incredible ideas can kind of be realized. So just kind of providing my perspective to get them to their end goal. And so yeah, just contributing a lot to MOFY and trying to really make not only MOFY but also the upcoming marketplace an amazing product.
Yeah, incredible. Really appreciate your contributions there, and looking forward to having the artist interviews published. Really cool work, and I love the artist you picked out for that. So that will be made public very shortly. Yeah, does anyone else have any thoughts or questions on this route we're going down? I think in the core team we're very aligned that this is a good use of our time and energy, and this is somewhere where we can really add value and yeah, open it up. Does anyone have any thoughts on this direction?
Yeah, I'm gonna speak up again, I guess, if nobody else wants to talk, just because this is really interesting to me. But I just wanted to share like a perspective here again from somebody who's like a farmer and like uh, I don't know a whole lot about NFTs. Of course, I guess nobody does really, but uh, um, like this is really interesting to me. I just don't have the time to commit to something like this. So, like, you know, Yam is sort of a project that I've been involved with in the past quite a bit, and I like to dedicate any extra time I have to. I'm still I'm still a bag holder. I'm still invested here, and so I like to dedicate any extra time I have to try to help if I can. But like, how can somebody like me that's just kind of on the periphery, like, what's a good way for me to get started, or just to kind of be able to stay involved, but not have to follow every single thing that goes on in the NFT world or that's going on, even just with the project Yams, or you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I get more exposure to this market? I guess is what I'm saying, and still kind of like have a basic idea. I guess what I'm doing.
I think a lot of what we're trying to do with MOFY is to do that thing exactly, is to try to mesh the farmers with the artists and turn artists into farmers and farmers into artists, and just kind of be that central hub to where you can interact with DeFi community members, you can interact in game like CryptoVoxel, and you can kind of have these articles and these great artists kind of shown to you over time, and really just start to find what you like, find what has got you or what an NFTs really is like your thing that you can be interested in, and all stuff like that. So I mean, I think that's a big goal of MOFY, is to strive to make that transition from a farmer to a farmer that also collects some art and has a good understanding of what they like, and is looking forward to all the new stuff coming out in NFTs. So I think that's a big goal of MOFY and the magazine as a whole.
Yeah, you don't have to be, you don't have to, just because we're doing this transition to becoming like super NFT guy, but there are going to be different products that we offer and different people that find more value. I know you're super involved as a super Uman, so staying up to date on all the Yams Synths stuff may be like more your speed, but we're gonna have this going, and there may be some cool exhibits that you wander into and pieces that you think you can contribute to in your own way. And I don't think anyone needs to feel like they need to be contributing to like everything all at once, and just because we're doing Yam Museum means that you've got to pivot your time over to like focus only on Yam Museum. But see what interests you, see what you think is cool about it, come hang out in the events. You can be casual about it, and maybe something will spark your interest in a way that you weren't expecting, and will give you some more insight into how DeFi works and how NFTs and DeFi are gonna sort of mesh together in the future, and can create interesting new dynamics that we're all exploring together.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
for
would
me,
just
it's
say
just a
shout out.
time. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead. Oh,
I-
actually, Poop, this would be for you. I was going to say the
Sure.
newsletter from Will is a great resource as well. He does a great job summarizing kind of the highlights of what's going on and what's new.
You broke up just at the beginning there. Who was it?
The newsletter that Data Leak puts out. It's some good content. Every issue is super dynamic.
Yeah, see, that's why I think that I just have time constraints. Like, it would be great if I could just have Ross, like, buy a little bit of some NFTs here and there, and like if I had somebody like a Yam portfolio manager who could kind of tell me what's cool. I don't know. Yeah, I really I think a lot of this is really very interesting, and it's just that like even being involved with Yam, I didn't really know a whole lot about what we're doing right now with the metaverse and all the NFTs and everything. So like this is the first time that I participate in a lot of community calls and whatnot, but this is the first time that I've really kind of taken a deeper look at NFTs. I just got back from ETHCC and like realized how much of an impact they're making. I didn't really have uh, any idea because kind of confined to my own little world in farming, but it was really interesting to see. So like I think that it's just really important to like try to bridge that gap from the hardcore NFT people that you see all over Twitter and social media or whatever, to like the casual person who only has maybe 20 or 30 minutes a day to commit to learning.
No, I think that's super cool to bring that up, and I mean that's within the scope of what we can do, in terms of like an NFT portfolio, using Synths. I mean, we have a partnership now with NFTX. Maybe in the future, when there's more, we can look at like a meta index synth of their NFT tokens, giving exposure to some of the leaders of the space. But yeah, education, regular content. So the newsletter is every 2 weeks right now, and the magazine will be on every 2 weeks. So there'll be content every week. Regular social media engagement as well. Tweeting, talking about what's going on, the events, and yeah, I think Ross and Joe made great points as well. Yeah, we can explore this space together, pursue the things that interest us, and yeah, focus on our passions. I think that's what makes this community so strong. So many talented people, so focused on their specific skill sets and passions. But yeah, thanks guys, thanks Joe for sharing as well. I think there's super big value add for MOFY, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more. Yeah, did anyone else have any thoughts or questions about either MOFY or DeFi tools, the uni stuff, or anything else they'd like to raise from the community? Yeah, if not, we can wrap up there. Yep, I'd love to see everyone on the forum discussing this further. And yeah, we'll see everyone in 2 weeks. for the next call, otherwise.
Great call. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Appreciate your
thanks
time
for putting
today.
this together.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Cheers.